Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I'm Malin, and today I want to talk about going vegan. I've been vegan for a bit over 5 years now, so I'm happy to share all my tips with you. And with autumn being a season for new beginnings, I thought this was a great time to talk about this. I'm going to share 12 of my best tips for going vegan, so let's get right into it. The first thing I think you need to think about when going vegan and making such a big lifestyle change is to think about what is your motivation for doing this. So it could be for health reasons, it could be for environmental reasons, and of course it can be for animal welfare reasons. A lot of people come into this from different angles, but I think it's really important to define for yourself what are the reasons that you are doing this. Because when you maybe have a temptation or you sort of forget why on earth you started this process when it gets a little bit hard, then you can remind yourself of those things. And for me, what really helped me was to make that connection with animal welfare and caring for animals, because that was sort of a thing for me that's a non-negotiable at this point. So while that is what's important for me, it could be something different for you. Just make sure that you know for yourself. When going vegan, there are really two ways of doing it. Either you go cold turkey, as the expression goes, and you just go all in, you just change overnight, or you do a gradual change. And both are fine. Obviously, there are pros and cons to both. When you go cold turkey, I would like to say that if that's how you're doing it, then don't throw away food or items that you have. Either eat them up or give them away to someone. We don't want to be wasteful. If you're doing the more over a longer period way, then I would recommend setting some deadlines for yourself so that you know that by this date I'm going to have changed this. This way you're holding yourself accountable and you sort of have a goal, you know where you're going. When it comes to making the change, I would recommend starting with what's on your plate and then expanding into other parts of life. So hygiene products, cleaning products, makeup, entertainment, alcoholic beverages. There are many things that you change as you go vegan, but starting with what's on your plate is a good place. With doing this, think about adding things rather than taking things away. So focus on that positive thing of adding something in, and that will sort of replace the things that you have been doing before without it becoming a negative thing of like, I've taken everything away and now what do I do? Within this, it's really great to find your go-to meals. So when you start with a plate, try to find some new recipes that look exciting to you, that you want to try. And maybe for that first month, try a lot of new recipes so that you find those dishes that you want to make again and again. And then maybe put them in your phone or write them down somewhere so you know you always have these meals to come back to. You have like your arsenal of favorite go-to meals. And then of course, as you go along, you can add more, but it's good to have that baseline of meals that you like. To make sure you're off to a good start, I would recommend to stock up your pantry with all the things that a vegan pantry needs. For this, I would recommend stocking it up with a lot of whole foods, which will make sure that you have a lot of nutrients in your diet. That is whole grains, beans and legumes, lentils, fruits and vegetables, and nuts and seeds, and herbs and spices as well. This will make sure that you have a good variety of different foods that you can combine in different ways to make good meals. A little side note with this, as you're stocking up your pantry for the first time, is to read labels. And you're going to have to do this in the beginning because some of the things that you're eating might not be vegan and you might not think that they wouldn't be. So just make sure that you check certain foods that they don't contain dairy or eggs. And yeah, after a while you won't have to do this anymore, but in the beginning it's a little bit of a task that you need to do. A few years ago, I made a list on my website with things that I like to stock my pantry with, so I'll make sure to link that in the description box for you if you need some inspiration. My next tip is to gradually step up the fibrous foods and the legumes, so the beans and the lentils. So while I say that it's good to stock up on the whole foods, in the beginning it could also be good to get like some white rice and some tofu or something else that has protein but with less fiber than, for example, legumes. Because we all know that bloating and flatulence can come with going for these kind of foods too fast, especially if you haven't had a lot of fiber in your diet before or you haven't been eating a lot of legumes. But don't worry, it's going to get better and you're going to be able to eat more and more of it without having any sort of stomach issues, let's say. So just start small and then keep adding a little bit more week by week, and by the end you'll be a vegan expert bean eater. Next up, I want to encourage you to make sure that you're eating enough calories. When we're changing to vegan foods, it's quite common to start eating less calorically dense food. So a lot of vegetables have a lot of nutrients, but they don't have a lot of calories. So we need to make sure that we're eating big enough portions that we can feel full and satisfied and we're nourishing our bodies properly. A good way of doing this is to track your nutrients as you're in the beginning of your change to a vegan diet, just to make sure that you're eating in a healthy range. Then when you know sort of how much food that is, you can stop doing this. But it can be a useful thing to do in the beginning, to just track your calorie intake. One thing that I think will set you up for success in changing your diet is to make sure that you have some alternatives to your favorite meals. So of course we all have things that we really love to eat. Then it's great to think of some things, some vegan things that you could have instead of that, so that when you feel like that meal or you feel tempted from that kind of food, that you have some alternatives that you know you love as well. And it could be good to have like exact alternatives to begin with, so that you know when you're thinking of that food, well then I'm just going to have this food, and you know you will feel satisfied. And here it could be really good to use some mock meat alternative meat substitutes, because of course you're going to miss certain foods that you used to have, and there are great options nowadays that taste similar, that have a similar texture, that have a similar flavor, and you can of course cook foods in a way that they emulate a meat or a cheese or something else that isn't vegan, but you can make something that is resembling that food. Also with this, it's really important not to think of all the things we're missing, but rather than to focus on the positives. So focus on the fact that you are not hurting any animals, you are doing good things for the environment, you are eating more healthily, all the things that you are doing just by changing your diet to a vegan diet, rather than thinking of the things that you are missing or you feel that you're missing out on. Because this way you can have that good feeling about what you're doing, rather than feeling that you're depriving yourself of anything. Remember that note about your motivation. Just keep reminding yourself of why you're doing it and what good it's doing, and it'll be easier. Something that's really important when you're switching over to a vegan diet is to start taking a B12 supplement, because B12 is the only nutrient that you cannot get from the food you eat on a vegan diet. So it's really important that you take a supplement for this. And supplements come in different dosages, so you might need to take it like once a week or every day. It just depends on the one you get. So make sure you read the instructions on the bottle. Other nutrients that could be good to track on a vegan diet is iodine. So if you're not eating iodized salt, then it could be good to take a supplement for that. Another one is omega-3. So if you eat some milled flaxseed or milled chia seeds on a daily basis, then you will be getting good omega-3 fatty acids into your diet. But I personally take a supplement, not every day, but sort of every other day or every third day, just to make sure that I'm getting enough omega-3s. We also need to think about vitamin D, and usually you don't really get vitamin D so much from your food anyway, you get it from the sun. So this is not just for vegans, but it is important to think about nevertheless, especially if you live in the northern hemisphere like we do, where in the colder months we don't get enough sun. So then you need to take a vitamin D supplement as well. And not all vitamin D supplements are vegan, so just check your health store or your pharmacy and find a vegan version. Finally, there's also iron that you might want to think about, but if you're eating a lot of dark leafy greens in your diet and seeds and nuts and legumes, then you should be fine. But as a woman, if you know that you are low on iron naturally, you might want to take a supplement here as well. But of course, with supplementation, it's all individual. The one thing you do need to take though is B12. I'm now going to leave the food part a little bit, and my next tip is to find a friend or your partner or someone who wants to do this change with you. It's always more fun to do it together with someone, and if you can't find someone that you know and that you spend time with often, then try to find an online buddy that is doing it, or maybe not one, but like a group that you can join so that you can help each other out. Veganuary, every January is great for this, and I think you can join their Facebook pages and things like that throughout the year, and they'll have lots of tips for you and people who are in the same boat as you that you can share your experiences with. Even if you're not joining a group where you are doing this change together, it's great to join some vegan groups online or in real life where you have some people to talk about these specific things with, because it could be that your family or friends are not supportive or they're not that interested, and that's okay. You should still be able to do this for you, and it is much easier if you have someone to talk to about it, people to give you tips, or people, like I said, to share your experience with. So try to find someone that you can do that with, and I think it will be much easier. For information and inspiration, there are countless resources online these days. They're all free, so you can get access to really good information without leaving your house or paying anything. Some of my favorites are for general information, PETA or the Vegan Society, or Veganuary, like I said as well, for inspiration and ideas for what to cook, but also tips for new vegans. I also really like Happy Cow, which is an app that allows you to search for restaurants in your immediate area or in cities anywhere around the world, and it will tell you if a place is vegan, vegetarian, or has vegan options. And this way you can find places to eat really easily. You don't have to do all the browsing and googling and searching on your own. You can just use this app and they will let you know. It makes everything so much easier. I can't recommend it enough. Another good resource is Barnivore. I think this is online based. I don't think it's an app. There you can search for alcoholic beverages and see if they're vegan or not. Their directory is not huge, so you can't find everything on there, but you can find quite a bit. Otherwise, here in Sweden at least, and our place that we buy alcohol, you can actually ask the staff. So that's really useful as well. For my second to last tip, I just want to let you know that you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to know everything. You just start where you are and you will gradually learn more things and get more comfortable. Sometimes people around you might think that just because you've made this choice, you should be an expert. You do not need to know everything. You don't have to feel this way, and you can just tell them, sorry, I actually haven't thought about this. Let me get back to you when I have. It's also okay to have setbacks or slip-ups. I mean, that's natural, it's human. We all err sometimes or do something that is not part of our path to our goal. It's fine. Just acknowledge that, whoops, it went wrong, and then you just start again. Just be kind to yourself and know that you're doing a good thing, you're on a good path, you're going somewhere, and yeah, remember that you need to take care of yourself. I also want to remind you that to go vegan, you don't also have to be all whole foods, no oil, no sugar, zero waste. You know, it's enough to start with going vegan, or even if you just finish there, it's also fine. You don't need to be everything to do this one thing. And also, every meal that you're changing from animal products to vegan options or meals is good. So just take it one step at a time, be kind to yourself, take it easy, and you'll be fine. Finally, my last tip is to lead the way and share the love. Be kind about your new ways. Not everyone is on the same path as you. Not everyone will understand what it is that you are doing or what you are passionate about, and it's okay. Don't get upset. Don't get angry. Of course, you cannot get upset and angry. We all do it sometimes, more often than I would like, I can admit. But don't bring that energy into conversations with other people. It's always good to just be kind, be calm, share what you know, and be compassionate towards other people. But please share your new vegan message as much as you can. It's a really beautiful thing that you are doing, and it should be shared. So feel confident in doing that, and I wish you all the best in your going vegan journey that's starting now. And I hope this has been helpful, that you found some inspiration here. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the commenting field. I'll try to answer, especially if you have questions as a new vegan. I'd love to help you out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.